Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Real Chums. I'm your host, Marcel, and with me is my co-host, Danny.
In this week's episode, with it being Valentine's tomorrow, we felt that it'd be best for us to check out our favorite rom-coms, While You Were Sleeping and Sleepless in Seattle, as well as let you know that we will no longer do news in every single episode. We may do it occasionally, but we've decided that it might be for the best to just do it when we feel like there might be some big news that we want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And we're still like early on in our like podcast career, so if you liked it, I mean, we'll be tweeting stuff out on our page. So feel free to follow us there. There'll be news there. But if you enjoyed the news segment, let us know in the comments. We could always add that back.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Oh, I did have a question for you though. So we're watching Sleepless in Seattle and While You're Sleeping. So if you ran into Meg Ryan or Sandra Bullock, who are you taking on? Who you asking on a date?
Are we talking
in these two scenarios?
Okay, but are we talking Meg Ryan and Sandra Bullock today, or Meg Ryan? You know what? No, it doesn't matter. Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Meg Ryan was great. She's phenomenal. But I definitely Sandra Bullock.
She's funny.
She's down to earth.
She's down to earth. Yeah. She can do action movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sandra Bullock, hands down.
Hands down.
Third option, Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman, any day. Man, we're going to talk about him. He was great, though, in both of these movies.
Yes, let's get right into that, because I think Bill Pullman is the secret winner of this week's.
Yeah.
I think this is the first episode we're going to do more of like a breakdown of these two. Like, instead of just talking about it, we're going to go in a little bit into like what we think about movies. And I think Marcel has a great list for us to check out. So, one I started watching, because it's been like forever and a day that I watched Sleepless in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And I'd recently watched While You Were Sleeping, and you had never seen that one.
I had never seen While You Were Sleeping, no.
Yeah. So what did I say? Did I say While You Were Sleeping?
Wow. You said it, yeah.
Okay. So what I was pleasantly surprised was that Bill Pullman is in both of these movies.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play the same character, but you know what I started thinking? That he was left by Meg Ryan, and he changed he became a bum or just like went back to his parents' like job and found Sandra Bullock. In While You Were Sleeping.
Lost all of his allergies and his health suddenly became better. But
New medical breakthroughs.
In the 90s.
That's what I started thinking about.
I love that.
I know, it's so good.
Lines perfectly, because you had Sleepless in Seattle come out in like 91?
93, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think if I was looking up some of these dates.
And then like 2-3 years later, then
While You Were Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping, yeah. He's awesome in these movies.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So good, man. I mean, the whole cast. I mean, everybody in the cast was phenomenal. Okay, I want you to break down this wonderful list.
Yeah. So a little context. I am not a big like rom-com kind of guy.
Yeah.
I enjoy them, but like I will watch them after like I'm forced to watch it, or after like numerous people have said like, oh, you should watch this movie. Like, I don't ever see a trailer. I'm like, can't wait for that rom-com to come out. I'm going to be there, like opening night. I'm not that guy. But over the years and after much discussion and conversation with my wife, I built out a list, and here's what I think is the best elements to have a really good rom-com if executed properly. Excuse me. So let's go with it. First, you need a good soundtrack. Okay. Second, an iconic meet cute.
Yes.
Third, a ridiculous off the wall setting or situation that kind of kicks this story off. You need the one friend or the sidekick that our protagonist is going to be bouncing ideas off of, and oftentimes they're like the logical one. And a lot of the comedy beats happen with that individual.
Yes.
this is a personal, like, I just think the setting or the location is crucial.
Yes.
You don't find many rom-coms where they take place like in the middle of Texas in a farm, because that would be boring.
I mean, you have Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay, sure.
But you're right. I'm not to say. I mean, I do agree that for the most part, the scenario or the location.
Alabama's a lot better than middle of nowhere Texas, Lubbock, Texas. I don't know. We're gonna have one of our listeners like,
Hey, if you are listening to this and it's in the future, don't add us.
The other one is obviously chemistry between the leads.
Yes.
And then eventually you're gonna need a conflict or something that causes our two lovebirds to take a break, separate, not be on screen together. Whatever that is. And then you have the epiphany moment or the aha moment that causes one of them to be like, no, I need to go back to that person. And then lastly, you have the grand gesture or that one big line or something epic that brings everyone together.
Yeah.
And that's what you need for a good rom-com.
How many of those have to hit to be like top tier?
I think you I don't know, you get at least like 60% of them, like 60, 70% of them.
Yeah. And you can be fine.
Yeah.
And the ones that excel at all of them are the ones that are legendary.
Which I was going through this list and I was like, you know which one hits all of these?
What?
2 movies. Or at least hit at least like 70% of these. Maybe we should have talked about these. But Hitch.
Yes. I would agree with that 100%. What's the second one?
The Holiday.
Okay. I swear you were going to say Jerry Maguire. Isn't that the one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because every time I think of like when I think, what was it? Somebody, or I was in where was I? I was doing something and Jerry Maguire's like the movie they kind of like talked about or what. Anyways, I don't know. Oh no, I was editing a video course, a filmmaking course at UVU, and he used Jerry Maguire as like story beats. And so some of these made me think of like that it meant a lot, a fair amount of those story beats for a good rom-com.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's necessarily a super rom-com. I mean, it is, but it's a sports film. I don't know.
It's a unique genre that Jerry Maguire is. Yeah.
It's a Tom Cruise movie.
Tom Cruise movie.
I mean, it's its own genre. Tom Cruise movies are
they're their own bucket.
I love Tom Cruise.
He's great.
Okay.
So that's the list.
Okay. So that's the premise for the rest of our pod. We're going to break down and we're going to talk about each one of these elements and how it pertains to these two movies. So let's start with the soundtrack.
This is where Sleepless in Seattle, or no, While You Were Sleeping kind of fails.
I was going to say that because I was watching, when I was watching Sleepless in Seattle, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the era where like the piano ballads were king. Yeah. Like, I don't know who's out there, who's out there making these piano ballads, but you guys were killing it I mean, I guess maybe not royalties, but like you guys were killing it because
seriously.
The entire movie, dude.
The entire movie, it takes old classics and like with a new piano ballad in there, and it's just like yes, I'm in it for it all. But it's interesting because like While You Were Sleeping starts off with This Will Be an Everlasting Love by Natalie Cole.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that song. And it's like, yes. Again, my first time watching, I'm like, yes. And it has like the setting of Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, this is it. And that's it. Like, that's the one song they play. Everything was like, I was waiting for like a good like montage or just like good romantic songs.
I'm wondering if like the era, because I didn't double check, but You Got Mail. I think You Got Mail came out. Is it after or before?
After. It was like 2000 something.
Yeah, and so I haven't watched that one in a while, so I can't remember if they have a piano ballad. But I like wonder if Bill Pullman was like, no ballads, because I will say this is, I feel like the soundtrack definitely is strong, but I feel like it affected some of these other elements for that in While You Were Sleeping.
Okay.
But you can't go. You're like, there was like I don't know. I mean, it was probably like 30 seconds, if not almost a minute of moments where like you just get these like ballads and these songs. And I was like thinking, what is happening? Is this how all rom-com movie were at this time? And
I am all for it though. I am. Look at even like My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh my gosh.
My Best Friend's Wedding even starts with like a little mini music video.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Like, and it's great. And then you have like the one scene in where the whole cast sings.
I mean, I can't remember because it's been a long time.
Say a Little Prayer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right? So just powerful. Even Hitch though has like some great soundtracks.
Yes, they do. Okay.
But I think that's where While You Were Sleeping kind of failed.
Okay, I'm gonna put there'll be a counter for each movie and their points.
Yes. So everyone knows Danny is our editor.
Yes.
We're going to make this a lot more complicated. Maybe do like a counter or a ching or something.
Okay, well, I'll figure something.
Zoom in on your face as you go ching ching. Or, there you go. There it is.
I'll figure something out. Don't you worry. It was a week ago or a week and a half ago when I watched While You Were Sleeping.
Okay.
And there's definitely, I don't remember the soundtrack very well. And I think there's some moments where it has some like swells and some probably reprisals or whatever. But it's definitely no Sleepless in Seattle. No. So definitely. Okay. What's the next one?
The Meet Cute.
Okay. This one is tricky because I don't know. I like the Meet Cute in Sleepless in Seattle is late.
Very late.
Like,
and Danny, maybe for some of our listeners that don't know what a meet cute is.
Yes, great. So a meet cute is the moment where the two love interests have their first interaction. It's like the thing that like sometimes it sparks something, sometimes it's like actually like goes against them, but it's this thing where they meet and it's the moment that will trigger the rest of the events that happen.
Yeah. A good example, The Holiday. we'll talk about The Holiday another time.
We did have The Holiday.
We did have it on our list.
We did have it on our list, but I think this was still good. We'll do The Holiday.
We'll do The Holiday another
maybe for another time.
Yeah. What do you count as the meet cute? Is it when she comes out of the airplane, or is it on the street, or is it at the very end?
No, I was gonna actually. I would even go even further ahead earlier in the movie.
Oh,
is the meet cute? Is this an untraditional meet cute in the fact that it's a one-sided meet cute with Tom Hanks on the radio and Meg Ryan having her moment with the rest of 40
of America,
rest of 30-year-old women and older in America listening to this radio show, which I just can't, like, I mean, how many unmet meet cutes were in those papers? No.
Seriously.
But,
no, that's a good call out though.
But, and I think that's really where the meet cute happens, because because the premise of the movie is the fact that, like, Tom Hanks doesn't know anything. So there's two meet cutes in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have, and I would say, okay, maybe even a third meet cute with the son getting the letter from Annie.
Oh, okay.
So you have these two meet cutes, three meet cutes that are in there. And I think they're all strong. I feel like the first one, I think, Anne, if you think of Annie's introduction to, I can't remember the actual character's name, but Tom Hanks is
Sam.
Yeah. His that whole situation, then I think that's why the ending meet cute is like, it's strong, but also like it's like that big anticipation wanting to, to have that moment.
Yeah. Should we give a synopsis on like the movie?
I guess we should.
On they're almost 30-year-old movie.
All right. If you've been sleeping on a rock or you don't have
me, because I haven't seen it. I knew the general synopsis.
Touche. Okay, touche. Okay, so apparently, if for all those who haven't watched rom-coms or can't remember, let's give you the two synopsis. So basically, in Sleepless in Seattle, we have Sam, I can't remember his last name, and he loses his wife and to some ailment or something, and he has one son, and he's trying to like he's really, he's depressed and he's trying to figure something out. So he decides to move to Seattle. He's an architect. While he's there, his son decides to call some like late night talk, like therapy session. Or maybe I was like, is this a sex radio show? No, it's just a therapy session. Anyways, so people call in. She has him on air and she gives him like a title, or her producers give him some title. So her son's talking to him. He gets him on the phone and they have this little thing and it's broadcasted to like all, I mean, there's no internet. So like radio is the thing to like listen to. So they're like having this interaction. Meg Ryan she just was engaged to this guy, to Bill Pullman, who got allergies up to, like, this guy has so many problems. Like, there's no fun in anything that you're probably about to do.
He's safe, but yet there's this like lovable aspect to him.
100%. He's like that lovable person that you're just like, man, he's got everything going not well for him, but he's just a great guy. So he comes in his family, but Meg Ryan, they somehow decide they're going to go to visit his family to break the news that they're engaged. She's driving solo, and she's listening to this radio show where Sam gets showcased that he sleeps in Seattle. The rest of the movie is her realizing that she might not want to marry Bill Pullman and actually wants to see what happens with this guy in Seattle. We don't know if they get married, but they, in a world in 1993, the world says they did.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is that he starts dating another girl. We'll get to some of the other things, but eventually they do meet. Sleepless in Seattle. No, while you're sleeping.
While you were sleeping, you have Sandra Bullock's character, who is she works at the train station.
Yeah.
Checking people in. And for a while, she's been checking a guy that comes in, never says hi to her, always goes past her. And she's in love with him. Backtrack a little bit. As a child, though, I think this is crucial. Her dad always talked about the love that he had for her mother.
Yes.
And set these expectations of what love should be, right? And that's what she's searching for. One day, the individual, I can't remember his
name either.
I should probably look that up. Peter.
Yes, right.
So Peter, who she has a crush on, gets mugged at the stop of the train station and falls onto the rails, and she freaks out and she runs out, jumps in there to try to wake him up, save him, has an iconic line of the train is coming faster, because you have time to say that when the train's about to hit you. And anyway, so she rolls him over, train doesn't hit him, they take him to the hospital, and there she leads people to believe that she is engaged to this individual, because now that he's in a coma.
Yes.
Okay. He's in a convenient coma. His family shows up. They all are led to believe that she's engaged to him. And with that, the whole movie starts in the chaos that comes with her meeting the family.
Realizing she's not ideal.
Yeah. Meeting the comatose individual's brother, who she ends up falling in love, who is Bill Pullman. Okay, completely different character. And then we see what happens with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Which we'll talk about it.
Definitely you should watch both these movies.
Watch them.
If you're in college right now and you want to get a girl to date you, literally or go on a date with you, just be like, hey, I'm watching While You're Sleeping, and I just want to know if you want to come with me. Message me, see if anyone says no, because that's probably not going to happen.
All right, so that's the movies there.
There you go.
Okay.
Meet Cute for
While You Were Sleeping.
Yes.
You were saying that you really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it because go ahead.
Okay, is it when she's asleep? The meet cute between Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman's character is she's asleep on the couch.
Yes.
He walks in and he kind of gets to meet her, and then it isn't until the next morning when she tries to sneak away that they actually have a conversation.
Yeah, so I think it's the conversation.
Okay.
That's to me where I feel because there's that situation, but I think the conversation is where he's intrigued.
Yeah.
Because he knows the brother and we don't.
Yeah.
So Peter he's a dick.
Peter is a dick.
Bill just like, he has this moment. He's like, what is happening right now? I mean, that's literally the like half the movie of just like Bill Pullman just thinking,
there's no way my brother.
how did he score this?
Yeah.
And not only that, but Sandra Bullock also is like, who is this? What's happening now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I mean, she's got a lot of emotions going on.
She's got a lot of emotions where she's trying to navigate, okay, I'm leading this family to believe that I'm engaged to their comatose son.
Yeah.
This guy might be onto me.
Yeah.
He's picking up on something that I might be lying. So she's also navigating that conversation. And she's trying to sneak away to catch a taxi.
Yeah.
Before anyone wakes up.
Yes.
So there's a lot happening in that interaction, that scene, which I love. I will say though, I'm just not a fan of that meet cute. A meet cute needs to like just sweep me off my feet.
Which meet cute do you feel like is in Sleepless in Seattle? Like when you think of the meet cute, what did you think of?
When she sees him, when she's trying to cross the street, okay, and I guess and she mistakes his friend for the girl that he's dating, right? And you have tons of cars coming the opposite way. No cars are coming this way, so she's able to stand there for like a minute and just stare at him, and then and she's trying to get the courage to go talk to him, and then the friend who she thinks is who he's dating, but it's not, it's a friend, and she kind of stops, and it isn't until the semi honks and Tom Hanks looks over and just kind of sees her.
Hello,
are you okay? And then the semi walks back, and then the scene ends.
Yeah,
like it just cuts. And then we have to hear from her what happened, and it's so funny that she's just like, I just said hello, and I turned back and left.
I think if you're gonna do textbook, the meet cute probably is from the radio show.
Yeah, which I hadn't thought about that, and you're absolutely right. And I think either one is creative and unique and
touche. Okay,
and takes
you're right.
Takes the win.
You're right. Maybe it's just because I've like watched probably While You're Sleeping a little bit more than Sleepless in Seattle. But you're right. I think if you think about them, they're not, like, comatose person, like, yeah. I mean, kind of not generic, but like not like, what can we do?
Right.
And I think the fact that like there is multiple like moments where you can think like, okay, well, what's
and then there are people who think the very end is the meet cute, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so it gives us plenty of options.
Yeah.
All 3-4 work great.
Yes.
What a great
movie. I agree.
movie.
That is a great scene though. Like, I don't know, just the cut. It's just like it goes back to New York because she flies out
from New York
to Seattle,
or no, from Baltimore.
Yeah, that's right.
To Seattle. Yeah. And then next thing we come back and it's just she's retelling the story to her friend.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good. Okay. Fair.
You'll add
so the winner goes to Sleepless in Seattle.
Sleepless in Seattle. Okay.
All right. The next
one is a ridiculous situation that kind of kicks it all off.
Okay.
So we kind of talk about it, right?
Right.
One, I think what kicks it off is the fact that in While You Were Sleeping, False is in a coma, and she leads people to believe that she's engaged to Peter.
Yep.
Let's
just go with this. I think that's probably the scene that I'm really thinking about is the fact that like the family comes in and she then says that they're engaged.
Yeah.
And then like not only that, but like we're gonna have to go. What's the next one? The sidekick?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to talk. These two kind of go hand in hand in this situation. Okay, so in While You're Sleeping, Sandra Bullock says it, and there's like her sidekick, who's like the family friend who knows Peter, who's a schmuck. He's a schmuck, and he knows without a doubt that they are not engaged.
Right.
And he also knows
because he overhears her talking about it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he's onto this whole situation, but he also is like, he's trying to play Cupid over here.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that like the scenario for her is more of the leading the family on of this whole and the whole fiasco that she falls in love with the family, which is really great.
Yeah.
And the family's like, it's funny because I feel like Peter, I don't know how, I honestly feel like Peter was
adopted.
Yeah. Yeah. What the heck is going on with Peter?
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, he's definitely adopted or from a first marriage or something, because like everyone, like Bill Pullman, I feel like Bill Pullman would have been part of that family 100%.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Peter, he's a schmuck.
Yeah, he's a schmuck. Yeah, he is.
So yeah. Now, Sleepless in Seattle.
I will also say though that
okay.
Sandra's boss, Jerry,
oh yes,
also plays that role of the sidekick, the friend.
You're right.
So she has both Saul, the family friend,
yep,
and she has Jack, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I love because Saul is so invested in wanting to play Cupid.
Yes.
And like play along with all of this, whereas Jack or Jerry, well, let me pull him up. Jerry, he's kind of like, no, you gotta tell the truth.
Come on.
And I love that
Be adult.
I love their interactions are always at the hot dog stand.
Oh, I know.
It's never like in a work setting. It's always at the hot dog stand.
There's one scenario. There's one scenario.
Oh yeah.
I think when she's like actually gonna go get married.
That's right. She walks in and she's just like, here, this is happening tomorrow. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And he is just like, oh, it's happening?
Okay.
Again, great friends, great sidekicks with different motives.
Yes.
And it just plays so well.
While you're with, or no, Sleepless in Seattle, the fact that he gets on this radio, we talked about it already a little bit, but I feel like that's it is a really great, it's a unique, just like scenario.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel, I was trying to think about this. I was like, this is like a whole totally separate thing, but I feel like if they did like a sequel, should have Peter or Sam's son grow up and he's trying to reconnect with the little girl that's in this thing, but instead it's all via Twitter. But it happens like it's like that could be like a TikTok series, literally just like like, hey, I met this girl from my childhood. She helped me set up my dad by purchasing tickets. How does no one mad at her? And only spoke in acronym. No, not acronym. Yeah. Is it when you only have letters?
Oh, yeah, acronyms, right?
Yeah. Acronyms, which they're the real MVPs of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like the 3 scenes that she's in, it's so good.
She's funny.
But I don't think that scenario would have played out as solid if it was like just like a today's setting. So I just think that like the ridiculous situations, all these women wanting to write to Tom Hanks in this movie for his scenario, trying to like, so like, oh, he's the most beautiful person I've ever heard.
So sentimental, so caring, and they have no idea what he looks like.
No,
he just gets hundreds of letters.
Just, I mean, he's about, like people are trying to figure out his address or like, who knows. And that's the scenario that's like the setup.
That's the setup. Yep.
For like the thing. It doesn't carry out throughout. I mean, I guess Annie is like trying to figure something out, but there's like, it doesn't feel it's not as throughout in the sense of as strong as
while you were sleeping. Yeah, 100%.
In this ridiculous situation. I don't know. And it kind of becomes from a ridiculous situation in life, because that's kind of what happens, to like a ridiculous situation for Annie.
Yeah.
Because it's really one-sided, because she's the one trying to figure out what the heck's happening. And if she has cold feet, or if she like if she's like, am I in love with this person? Or I just like listen on the radio for like
5 minutes,
5 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever the radio show is. And that's what it kind of becomes.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I like better.
I like While You Were Sleeping better. I think because it plays out longer, it is a whacked out scene. Like the fact that you are letting someone believe that you're engaged to this comatose individual is so funny. I love it. And Sandra Bullock, that scene when the nurse says, "Oh, that's the fiance," and then the cop's like, "That's who saved him," and then the family turns around and she's just like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going with it."
Yeah.
So it's just so good. I give it to While You Were Sleeping.
I think so too. I mean, also I love the fact that as it gets on, she just gets more and more like sad.
Yeah,
She gets more and more sad because she's like realizing she likes what's the brother's actual name? What's Bill's
Jack.
Yeah. Jack's she's like falling in love with Jack and she's like, oh man, I buried my but she was committed.
she was.
She's like 100% commit, and so is Jack. Jack's like, well, I'm just gonna wait as long as it takes because my brother's gonna do something stupid and I'm gonna be there. But I agree. I think the whole scenario. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the fact that Annie was willing to fly out there, and then we have to talk about Roseanne,
Yeah,
who plays the sidekick for Annie, and I guess the son for Sam
for Sam. Yeah,
in the whole scenario. But Sam doesn't feel like quite much the sidekick. I mean, he does, but I mean, Roseanne, she's got some pretty decent lines, but like she sends the letter, there's the, like, and Annie doesn't know, so she goes out there trying to have the scenario to go like, hey, I like listen to you on the radio and I think I'm in love with you, but it doesn't happen.
no,
And they both have moments where they're staring at each other
yeah,
and like,
and nothing happens.
and she creepily like stalks them for the day.
And you could probably talk a little bit more about this. If you edit this movie the right way, you could make this into like a stalker horror movie. Annie is like like the way like she's sneaking in
she's
like throughout her house, messaging a private investigator. Like you could edit this, change the music tones.
Oh my gosh.
And the edit.
If I ever
is
get a
good.
chance, I will try. I will try to do a whole, like, maybe I will do a cut.
Maybe like a trailer, but like do like
Yeah,
scary music. Yeah, dude.
Like a 90s in a world
In a world.
where she just wants a lover. One man in Seattle.
You cut to the scene. It's easier to die by a terrorist than to get married after the age of 40.
Oh my goodness, that was really great. I think that whole scene. Oh man, so
I
good.
love that scene. So as far as the friend sidekick goes, Rosie's hilarious, and
She is.
She's great. She bounces off really well from Amy Ryan. Amy Ryan?
No.
Amy.
No.
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan.
Amy Ryan is from something else. But I give it to While You Were Sleeping,
While you were sleeping, right?
because you have the two different dynamics and interactions.
I also think that the neighbor guy who randomly shows up, he's from like New Jersey or something, and he's always like wanting to get with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
I just feel like is another just a great comedy relief in this, or like these moments of like, okay, he's like, she left me. Okay, come on, you want to get some ice cream? Anyways, just so good. I agree. I think
great. Yeah.
So While You're Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping won the ridiculous setting and situation and the sidekicks. Yep.
Well
They're
done.
tied.
Well done.
They're tied right now.
Okay.
Chemistry between the leads.
Oh, this is a hard one.
This is hard.
You started off.
This is hard in the sense that let's look at Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay.
They don't interact, even though they see each other from afar.
Yeah.
They don't interact till the very end.
Yeah.
And at the very end, so the whole concept is that Annie decides to message in the letter and says, "I'll see you at the top of the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And I want to meet you, etc." That's when the son gets the tickets and flies out there. Tom Hanks freaks out, flies out there as well. They get there, and at the same time, Annie is having just a dinner with not Jack,
Bill Pullman,
Bill Pullman.
whatever his name
Yeah.
is.
in another building where she's able to see the Empire State Building.
Yep.
Anyways, she ends that, goes and goes to the Empire State Building. She's the last person they let her go up. Gets there, no one's there. Her dreams have failed. Finds the little boy's backpack, and here comes in
Tom
Hanks and his little boy.
Yeah.
And that interaction of just staring at each other. Anyway, so that's all they have, and it's just you're Annie, yes, you're Sam,
Yeah.
and
Whatever. I can't remember what the movie that they keep quoting.
an affair in
Yeah. Whatever that movie is.
an affair in something.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically that, but in the 1993 remake of this scenario and whatever. And I mean, it was like, I think part of it is like Meg Ryan, her character charisma of like falling in love with this guy she doesn't even know is strong. But definitely when they come together, there's like, obviously there's an attraction, and they feel, and like the son also like feels like this thing, but it's not nearly as great a chemistry between Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman in While You're Sleeping.
Yeah.
Because like the entire film, and I mean, I honestly, I have to say this. I almost feel like Bill Pullman has the same chemistry with Meg Ryan in the moments that they are in. And it's just because like he's a lovable guy.
Yeah.
He's just like,
I fell in love with Bill Pullman in the scene when they're dancing together in Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. Look, he's got the swinging back and forth, twirling
So
her,
cute.
and they're having a conversation. I'm like, this guy is great.
he's so great. You know, I'm convinced. As you were describing the chemistry, or whatever. So what happened? Because Bill Pullman in Sleepless in Seattle is like, he like gets dumped. He gets unengaged.
Yeah.
And he's like, chill.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't want you to, but I'm convinced he went back home and he did this whole scenario with Senator Bullock, and he's just happy that he didn't have to do the breaking up.
That's your headcanon for these movies.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know Brandon Sanderson?
Uh-huh.
He's got the Cosmere. This is like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Cosmere of these two movies. They're like related but not related. And in my own head, that's the story that happens. No, but in her apartment building where like he almost like she like wants him to come in. They like to have, she wants to invite him to, and like actually talk to him as if she wasn't engaged to his brother.
Yeah.
And she's having these like struggles, and he's just trying to figure out what the heck's happening right now. Because you don't deserve, my brother does not deserve you.
Yeah.
And so I think there's that, like, it's just such it feels, I think what it comes down to is I think that While You're Sleeping, it feels like it could actually be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, or at least to some degree, everyone has felt possibly something similar in that sort of like, you had a friend who was dating a girl, and you and that girl, or that girl and the dude, have some sort of chemistry, but you can't really do anything about it because they're dating your friend or your sister or your brother or whatever it might be. And maybe you haven't, and maybe I'm just, because I watch a lot of movies and this is life. But there's a connection that could happen. And I mean, definitely not going to be what it is, but I mean, the feeling of like liking somebody and feeling like there's a chemistry, but well, it's life is life.
Life is life. Yeah. No, I agree. And obviously, like the way how you mentioned with Sleepless in Seattle, there's a physical attraction there, right? That where they both see each other. We are led to believe that Meg Ryan's character has made an emotional attraction, or has an emotional attraction to him because of the radio conversations and whatnot. But it is cute. It is sweet, especially like Tom Hanks' performance there, where he just kind of like takes it in and like holds her hand, and just like, it's very good I guess body language
Yeah.
body language acting. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then when they finally go inside the elevator and he just says, "Hi, I'm Sam."
Yeah.
And he finally introduces himself.
Yeah.
I love that. But yes, I think the chemistry between Sandra and Bill Pullman is just, it's great.
It's so phenomenal.
It's funny. It's tangible. Even when they're like moving the couch into the brother's room, and it's just like they push it in and like they laugh. It's great.
Yeah, they have more. And I mean, what do you expect when like half the movie is there?
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, obviously Meg Ryan and Tom, they have like 3 movies together, I think. They have
You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail, Sleepless in
Sleepless in
Seattle,
Seattle.
and I think one other one, or maybe just those 2.
Maybe it's just those 2.
I'll have to double check. But anyways, but I mean, they act well together. I mean, the scenario is great, and I think that's what you wanted, because like it's more of a unique situation.
Yeah.
And you see Annie and the struggle with like Sam's character starts dating this girl, and she does have a hyena laugh.
She does.
I'm like, why is she laughing at every little thing he says? I'm like, is she gonna stop laughing when like they get married? Like, what's happening there? But I mean, you are not supposed to like her, so there's that. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So the win goes to While You Were Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping.
All right.
Okay. The next one is a conflict or an event that separates the lovebirds.
Oh man.
So with While You Were Sleeping, okay, Peter wakes up from the coma, and after a series of events, he decides, you know what? No, she is the one. I'm gonna start. Actually, let's step back.
Yeah.
He is told that he has amnesia
Because
because he doesn't remember being engaged to her.
yeah. But he also doesn't remember that he has a girlfriend that he actually is engaged to.
That he proposed to, and she said no, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, after that realization, he's like, oh, I have amnesia, but you know what? It's okay. She's great. She's awesome. I'm gonna marry her, right? And they decide to get married like within the next day.
What a putz.
Whereas Bill Pullman's character confronts her,
Yeah.
right? And he poses the question, is there a reason why?
Yeah.
Oh no, she does, right? She says, is there a reason why you don't think I should get married?
Yeah.
And he says no,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you can't say like, no, marry me, like leave my brother. No, like
He's a good guy.
he's a great guy.
Of course, he's not gonna say, "Yeah, my brother's a putz. You should come." You know, schmutz, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a good guy. He's not gonna like. Of course, he's not gonna do. He would have done that the first time he saw her.
Yeah. He leaves. She closes the door. She's like, oh man, had he said yes, she would have ended it.
Yeah.
Right. And she would have gone with Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
And then, but I think there's also like another one where, so she decides to get married, shows up late to her wedding.
With like people dying and like the like, what is happening with that wedding?
Wedding.
Can we just talk about that? So like her one coworker friend and his wife,
Yeah.
and then like 4 people dying, who were, like also like roommates or something from like the
hospital. Yeah. And then the family, right? And that's it. And so then they're gonna get married, and she opposes to her own marriage. And the officiator says, we're not there yet. This movie is so funny. I really like
so
it.
good.
It's funny. And she's like, no, we can't do it. And then she leaves, right? And then there's that separation as well. I feel like this one, the first separation is her breaking up, so to speak, with Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
The second one is her breaking up with the family
Yeah.
and saying like, I'm sorry, I did this. I led you on.
Yeah.
You guys are great. I love you all, but this
I'm
can't
sorry.
work. Yeah.
Yep.
So you have those two.
Oh,
Whereas in Sleepless in Seattle, what would be the one? I guess maybe when she tries to confront him on the street.
no, I don't think that's. So here's the situation. I think so we have to think about this. This is like a decoupled rom-com.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or maybe like an open-faced rom. I don't know how you want to. Anyways, I'm gonna go with decoupled. So we got Annie's, Meg Ryan's situation, and her, like, she flies out, has this scenario. She then, they have this, like, hello, hi. And then, I was convinced she was going to get, like, every time I watched them, like, she's going to get hit, and then we're like, while you're sleeping. No, and then it cuts back to her being with Roseanne. And
Rosie.
like what? Rosie. Yeah. What the heck's going on? I'm crazy. I'm out. It's done. I had my little what I thought was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And so like that's the situation. Like her crazy situation was her flying out. To understand what's happening, right? I think for Sam, it's his son with his girlfriend secretly putting together a flight package to go to New York to meet Annie. And then the crazy situation is him having to fly out. Yeah. And it's like both are, I mean, both of them are crazy. I mean, like she's a girl who listens to the guy on this radio. I mean, she's hiding in the like pantry,
yeah,
like listening to the radio and like lies to Bill, like just like, you scared me. Don't do that. I was like, what's going on right now? I mean, she's doing crazy things. Like you said, like we could recut this into like a horror trailer with her stalking this guy. I mean, to me, I will say, I think and this is something we'll have to answer after we finish this thing, but like the real question is like, these are two styles of rom-com.
Yeah.
One of them is the more romantic, like dreamy situation. And the other one's like it's not quite, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And there's a comedy in the other one too, but like it to me, it's like, it feels like romanticism versus realism.
Okay,
and some like, if we're gonna like put our terms on it or something like that. And so to me, I think While You're Sleeping gets the win on these ones.
With the conflict that separates them. I give it to While You're Sleeping. Yeah.
And you know what I think it is? It's the family.
It's the family.
Yeah.
Because I think the first, when she tells Bill Pullman that no, there's no reason, or he tells her, no, there's no reason you shouldn't get married. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But the bigger heartbreak for me was the family.
Yeah.
Where they accepted her, they loved her, she loved them, which is an aspect of her character, right? Yeah. She lost her mom, and she talks about how she lost her dad and she has no one. Yeah. She just works. She dropped out of school to help pay for the bills and work. And so like she's yearning for the family, not just for a romantic relationship, but for a family. And she gets that. Yeah, for connection.
And I think it's like so relatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like you're an adult, you're working, you made decisions because you needed to. You were either forced to because like medical bills. Yeah. Like period. Let's like, of course you're going to like work and try to help with, especially if you're like in college, you've already lost one parent, you don't have any siblings. So just so like, you're like, oh man, I'm her or,
Yeah. You feel for her and for the family who created a connection, who loved her, who welcomed her. Right? Oh, yeah. And so, yeah.
And you want to be part of that family.
You want to be part of the family. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so the conflict or the event that separates the lovebirds goes to While You Were Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping.
Cha-ching. Okay, the next one is the epiphany or the aha moment.
This one's a hard one. And I'm gonna come out right and say While You're Sleeping takes this one too.
Okay.
Because I feel like the aha moment is just Annie. Oh man, now I'm talking. No, I still think that While You're Sleeping, because like Annie, they're at the it's a Valentine's Day dinner, and before they even like
Sleepless in Seattle is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, Sleepless in Seattle. Before they anything happens, she's like no. I do think While You're Sleeping takes away, but because I think that the like aha moment for Annie, it was strong, but it wasn't like. Maybe, man, I don't know, man. Now I'm trying to talk. Because like her running to the Empire State Building.
So I think the aha moment where she realizes like I need to do something,
I need to go check.
I think it goes to Annie to Sleepless in Seattle, because for a couple of reasons. So that day they're on a date. Her and Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
They pick out a ring, or he resizes his mom's ring. Okay, they go to the restaurant. She's looking straight out, right, and she kind of like zones out. And at the same time, Bill Pullman's talking about, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, just basic white guy in the 90s information. Like,
yes.
Nothing exciting, nothing engaging. And that's when she realizes, I need excitement. I need to know if there could be something there.
Yeah.
Right. And so that literally that light clicks as the same time as the heart-shaped lighting on the Empire lights up. Her mind lights up and she's like, no, I need to go and do it. Whereas while you were sleeping, I mean, the aha moment is more on...
It's the fact that she's committed, she was committed, and then she realized that she couldn't do it to the family.
Yeah.
And I think that like, it's impactful. Like, it is
impactful.
But I mean, I guess if we're looking at like again, I think like maybe it's the fact that like, is it romanticism? Is it the like romantic viewpoint, or is it the like real? And I don't know. Because I do think like, not to, because Annie does have it is that drive for her to like let this thing that would be totally secure, totally chill. He's a good guy.
A safe relationship, marriage, right? But is there that spark? Is there that excitement for her? And she comes to realize there isn't.
Yeah.
Right? There isn't.
Okay.
I need to do something. Very well knowing that Tom Hanks' character may not be there.
Yeah.
Right? But she still realizes whether it's with Sam or someone else, I can't be with Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
And so that aha kind of hits her.
Yeah. I don't know though. Like, I'm trying to think of
Even tie.
Maybe. I mean, I guess it's like I think if we're gonna go with like best, because like the things with the rom-coms, you want them to be together, right? And so there really isn't well, I mean, I guess the aha moment could be like the question, right? Is there any reason why I shouldn't marry your brother?
Yeah. And
the realization is that maybe this isn't going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you're right. I think if we're going to take it for what an aha moment should really feel like, which is clarity. Yeah, just like understanding for like oneself in that perspective for something that they're in. And I think because like there is that clarity with Sandra Bullock's character, but it's not so much because it's not really. It's really just that she doesn't want to like hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think is the fact that Annie has the aha clarification that what is happening isn't the thing that she needs to be doing.
Exactly. Okay.
All right.
Sleepless in Seattle. And lastly, the grand gesture, the big finale in any rom-com.
Yes. Which is, I mean, they're both good.
They're both good.
But I think that Sleepless in Seattle does take this one because like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan's connection and like the cuteness with her and the bear and like them coming up to get the backpack is just yes.
I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, stay a little bit longer, Tom and child, and just stay, or security guard, let her go up. And then when the door shuts on their elevator and then hers opens and she just calmly walks in, accepting that, you know what, I didn't meet him, but I made the right choice to like leave Bill, right?
And I think that's probably why that's why the aha one
it pays off.
Yes, the payoff is good
with the grand gesture.
Because while you're sleeping, she leaves and it ends with him popping the ring
through the little toll booth thing.
The toll booth, yeah. And like, I mean, we knew that was going to happen. I mean, the family's all there when that happened. So like, I get that like, it feels good. It feels like, like, oh, so glad. But it definitely, the payoff is so good. And I think the reason why the payoff is so good is because we don't have that huge, like there isn't that, we don't know. We don't have any other connection whether there's and part of his like part of the Sleepless in Seattle is, you know, he knew from the moment that he touched his wife, his former wife's or his hand that she was the one.
Yeah.
Right. So he's someone who like feels some sort of deep connection or whatever you want to call it.
When he knows, he knows.
When he knows, he knows. That's quintessential romance movie of love.
And again, going back to like while you were sleeping, he tosses the ring through the toll booth. The whole family's there, which is cute, but at the same time, it's like, okay, everyone's here. And then she just comes out, hug, and
it fades into
the
train scenario.
Yeah,
like I think there's an exit VO. I can't remember 100%, but yeah. So
I give it to Sleepless in Seattle.
So
it's so epic though, and again, it's epic, and they're acting. There's very little dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's what sells it so good is how well they act off of each other and the chemistry there. And then just for what little time we have with them, that chemistry just hits really well. And it's so good.
It's great.
The last, actually, we skipped one of the items. The location, the setting while you were sleeping.
Yes.
Chicago. And the fact that it's in Chicago and it plays, I think like a good, example of this is like
the holiday
and Hitch, because like let's look at Hitch real quick. We should probably also do Hitch as well. We will. Hitch, right, takes place in New York, and like just the atmosphere of New York, right? Like you fall in love with the characters, but you're also the city's helping you fall in love with them as well, and them falling in love with each other. Just think of the scene of like when Hitch is teaching the guy how to go in for a kiss.
Yes, I was just thinking that.
Going up those steps, right?
Yeah.
Your typical New York upstate Manhattan
apartment,
right? That scene, if you take that scene and if Hitch had taken place in like LA,
just like you know, a little house, or in Utah, like cookie cutter houses, like it doesn't land.
It doesn't land. But the fact that he walks up the stairs and he's jingling his keys and right, so like the city plays a big impact there.
Yes.
I don't think Sleepless in Seattle, like this movie could have taken place anywhere.
And it does. I mean, kind of like I mean, they're like they go from she's in Baltimore and he's in Seattle, and
even though like the end, like the whole movie's building up to them meeting at the top of the Empire State Building, it's okay.
Yeah.
Whereas while you were sleeping, her being a transit worker for Chicago, like it kind of plays with the.
Well, and then the dance scene, like it's like this, you know, it just is special little place, and it's like, you know, it's a beautiful area. I mean, you have like the characteristic of like an apartment building that has like, you're like with other people there, you know them because they're like in passing, and like that whole scenario plays to the fact so much, whereas like it's back and forth with just like you know, the two people. So
we give that one, we give it to While You Were Sleeping.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the list. I didn't even tally it up.
I mean, it's okay. We'll tally it.
We'll tally it.
But me, and I don't know. I mean, don't quote us, or you know, don't quote me on this. But I would say maybe like this, that While You're Sleeping initiates more of the rom-com feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm not saying I don't know what the other movies what the breakdown of like when some of these movies come out, but it definitely feels more to what we think of rom-coms as of today. Let us know what you guys think about our breakdown for what makes a great rom-com.
And let us know what your rom-coms are.
Yes.
We'd love to hear what you enjoy out of them, which ones you like, and I don't know, maybe we'll even break those down as well.
Next year, we will, when we get close to the Valentine's Day episode, we will revisit this and we want, hopefully, we'll definitely have more people, because we have somebody from Canada listening, and we thank you.
We're international, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So, send us a message on Anchor, and let us know when we get to that point. We'd love to do, maybe that's one of our listener episodes on like rom-coms and different scenes or whatever.
Well, with that said, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you could subscribe
wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, on whatever platforms you get and you listen. Give us a 5-star. Even in that same, on the app, just give us a 5-star. The 5-star rating really helps us to get discovered on the charts.
Yes.
So give us that 5-star. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, more importantly, let us know what you think of these movies, what your favorite rom-coms are. And you can always message us at you're at realchums.com, our email, or message us on Twitter.
At Real Chums.
At Real Chums, both Twitter and YouTube.
That's correct. We did, for those who were just listening to the audio podcast or even just the video, we have released some trailers, so our reactions to some of the trailers that were shown, particularly The Flash. So we hope you like them. So if you're not subscribed on YouTube, check that out too.
Yeah, let us know what you think of those. Well, thanks again, and we'll catch you guys next time.